Hello everyone, it is Friday, September 10th, 2021. Of course, Wednesday was New Comic Book Day, so right now it's time for the new comic book video. Not a whole lot of books this week. That kind of seems to be a common occurrence lately, with the weekly pickups. Not real big, but a couple of really nice books that I picked up. So we will jump right into that, and then I'm going to show you just some Bronze Age books that I have in a box, because I know people like seeing those. I get a lot of requests to show books, and a lot of people are saying, you don't always have to show older books, show more recent books, more Bronze Age style books. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's jump right into the books, shall we? First one up from Vault Comics, Dead Box number 1. Looking forward to reading this one. Has a pretty cool concept on the storyline. This was cover A. And the B cover. And if I am not mistaken, that was the last of the independents. Not a whole, like I said, not a big week. I didn't get a lot of stuff. By the time I got to the shop, a lot of books were already, sold out. So it is what it is. Next up, Green Lantern Annual. This is the 2021 annual here. Kind of a cool looking cover right there. If you can recognize, almost a pseudo homage cover right there. So I grabbed this one. Batman 112. Cover A. And a pretty cool looking cover B right there. And then finally, the last two books I'm going to show is from DC, of course, Black Label, Nice House on the Lake. This is book number 4, cover A. And cover B. There it is. There's a couple of other books that I have not yet picked up. I will be getting those, but I don't have them for this video. But what I do have is some older books. So let's grab some older books right here, shall we? In no particular order. Again, a lot of these are just going to be like Bronze Age books. And then stuff that there is a, we'll talk about it after I show some of the books. Brave and the Bold, number 158, Batman Wonder Woman. Really nice Batman book here. This is Batman 423. Iconic McFarlane cover right there. And a very expensive book on that right there. That is a very expensive book. Wonder Woman 260. Black Lightning number 10. Wonder Woman 261. Justice League of America 208. Justice League of America 208. Godzilla King of Monsters number 11. I like the Godzilla. I remember buying these when I was younger, first kind of getting into comic books in the 70s. And this was something I always bought because I just loved Godzilla. Nothing like a good old Slurpee in a collector cup and a Godzilla on a spinning rack comic book. Next up, Green Lantern number 150, double size. This is a double sizer right here. It even says so right there on the thing. Double size, 150. It looks a little, rough. The bags, a lot of these bags need to be changed out. You notice with older books, I noticed this. I know a lot of you probably notice it. The type of paper quality is different. There's a little bit more acid that comes out, and so it causes some wrinkling on the bags and boards. Next up, we have Amazing Spider-Man 204, Black Cat cover appearance right there. Another Godzilla King of Monsters, number 20, with a Fantastic Four appearance on it. Again, you can never go wrong with a little Godzilla. This one's not quite 70s, but this is still a real popular book. This is Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 1, 75 center. And there's another one. And another one. Needless to say, I probably have a lot of those. Fix these up a little bit. Next up, Spider-Woman number 16 from 1979, right there. Here's a cool Star Wars number 6, little Darth Vader action. Star Wars 11, don't mind the old stickers on there. This was a lot of stuff that I had in my old space that ultimately is just going to be resold again when I get my new space, or whenever I decide to do a show or something, which we will have some discussion on a show after this video. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man number 374. Venom cover, always popular, especially right now with the new movie coming out with Carnage. Woody Harrelson playing Carnage. We'll see how that goes. Fix this up. Wonder Woman number 217. Wonder Woman 271 with the Huntress. Wonder Woman 246. Wonder Woman 243. Great combination here. Brave and the Bold number 163. Batman and Black Lightning. Here's another Godzilla King of Monsters number 3. Got a little Iceman action, some Hercules right there. Gotta love that. This was like 1977, 1977. Again, right in my sweet zone when I first started collecting comics more seriously, as I was, running down to the 7-Elevens trying to pick, because unfortunately, we didn't have a comic book shop in our area. They weren't real popular at that time. And so we had to get ours at 7-Eleven or newsstands if we were lucky enough to get to a newsstand. Next up from 1980, Thor number 300. Always loved that cover with him throwing the hammer right there. Got the big 300 in there. Again, the waviness of the bags just means it just needs to be fixed up a little bit. From 1977, Thor number 269. Another one from 1978, Thor number 280 with the famous, still only 25 cents, still only 35 cents. There's a Thor right there, really nice looking. Again, all these really, really nice high grade condition. Popular bondage cover, not real, expensive. Something that you can find very reasonable, but a very good seller at shows when you find them, because people do like this cover. This is the Mighty Thor number 279 from 1978. It's just a great cover right there. Let's do a few more stacks. Let me fix this real quick. Okay. Again, just grabbing a random box. Thor 296. Wonder Woman 242. Marvel Comics Group 2001 A Space Odyssey number 5 from 1977. Boom. Iron Man 121 from 1979. Iron Man number 127. One of the few older books probably in this box. This is a House of Mystery number 228. This is a 100-page giant for 60 cents. Not a high-grade version of this book, but it's a 100-pager. We always talk about that spine. The spine looks pretty good right there. And just a really cool cover. So any condition, those House of Mysteries will always sell. Fantastic Four, 193. Brave and the Bold, 126. Batman and Aquaman. Then you got the Germans right there. We've talked about the symbols of the war comics, or when they do the Germans, Japanese with either the rising sun or the swastika. There's another example of it right there on a Brave and a Bold. Batman and Man-Bat, Brave and the Bold, 165. Man-Bat looks like he's babysitting right there. There you go. When this cover came out, everybody was talking about it. There's a whole lot of stuff going on as it relates to, the famines in Ethiopia and a lot of the commercials that they would show. This is Heroes Against Hunger. This is, I believe it was just a one-shot on this. This is Superman and Batman, Heroes Against Hunger. But, they had the controversy because they put, the hungry Ethiopian child on the cover right there. A lot of people didn't like that. But I think, a large amount of the proceeds from this book went to, feeding the hungry. But just always, remember seeing that cover and picking that up. Black Lightning number 3. Black Lightning had a lot of heat earlier. It's kind of cooled down a lot, but still a really, really good storyline if you haven't read it. Next up, Men of War number 23. Really good war comic. We always talk about, Our Army at War, Sergeant Rock, Weird War. Men of War, really good storyline on that right there. Captain Marvel number 62, 1979. Again, old prices on that for, when I had my indoor swap meet space, that people would say, you're only in an indoor swap meet, but I had better books than anybody else had. So, shame on you for not showing up for that. Captain Marvel 55. Really good color on that. We talk about, cover presentation. There's another good example of it right there. Captain Marvel 52. Another Godzilla number 12 right here. Godzilla in space. It's Godzilla. Godzilla can do anything. Wonder Woman 255. Wonder Woman 261. Again, all of these, except for that House of Mystery, really, really high grade condition right here. That's what separates me from other people who sell, is that you're going to get books from me and they're going to be in really, really good condition, because I actually take the time to keep them in good condition, and I don't mind the cost factor in changing out, bags to make sure the bags look fresh. Here is, speaking of war comics, Sergeant Rock, number 365. By far my favorite war comics, storyline, with the exception, of course, of Blitzkrieg, which we've talked about on this channel. Blitzkrieg holds a special place in my heart, and it always will. But I remember Sergeant Rock being something that I always grabbed when I found it, because I just loved the World War II. Here's the Sergeant Rock number 403. German soldier. Got the SS bands up there on his collar. There's that again, just a really, really cool looking cover on that. We can probably do this many more. Hope you're enjoying these. Again, these aren't, vintage, but this is like my, my golden age when I first started collecting a lot of these. The early ones I showed, a lot of these in the 80s, I was, high school age here, like this one here, Sergeant Rock 409, 1986, year I graduated from high school. And yes, I was still collecting comics, because I have never stopped collecting comics. Sergeant Rock 417. Sergeant Rock right there, standing up there with his lovely bride. One of my really, one of the covers that I always liked when I saw this, this came out, this is number 350. I liked it because it's a Christmas cover and a war cover. Got it right there, Sergeant Rock hiding behind the snowman. Really, really cool. Here is a Sergeant Rock 307. Sergeant Rock 323. There's SpiderMan #1, of course, McFarlane SpiderMan. Boom, right there. Regular one, again, super high grade. I know I got a ton of these because whatever collection you buy is always going to have this. It's going to have Spawn #1. It's going to have Wildcats. It's going to have, you know, the typical stuff that everybody bought real heavily in the early 90s. Here's a book. This was, you know, a show on television. This is The Mighty Isis. This is issue #2. I believe this is 1977, I believe. Can't quite remember off the top of my head. Because I'm getting old, I'm forgetting things. Wonder Woman 227. Wonder Woman 239. Wonder Woman 240. Wonder Woman 236. Wonder Woman 237. Wonder Woman 229. Another kind of a warish cover. There's, you know, wearing the band, got the rocket going at her. Again, this is normal because Wonder Woman was real big during World War II, and they showed a lot of stuff like that with the war effort. This is DC Comics Presents Annual #3, Superman and Shazam. Another nice Men of War, #18. Again, if you haven't read Men of War and you like the war comics, really good. If you don't want to buy the comics, you can just go buy the, you know, a trade or something like that. Really cool. Nice Doctor Doom cover. We'll show a few more. Doctor Doom cover, Fantastic Four, $1.99. Love me some Doctor Doom. Wonder Woman #286. Wonder Woman 228. Wonder Woman 230 with Cheetah on the cover. Wonder Woman 231. Two copies of Wonder Woman 235. Again, I have a lot of stuff I've picked up over the years. Just going to go in boxes and people are going to have a field day going through it. Wonder Woman 273. All Out War #1. This is the Viking Commando, $1 book. This is from 1979. Kind of a cool looking book right there. And we'll end it with a Secret Wars #5. Nothing really big other than the fact that it's just a high grade book. And there is that. So I hope you kind of enjoyed those books right there. I do get a lot of requests to show, you know, books like that. But the reason I'm showing you that is a simple reason is that in, what is it, November 3rd, November 6th, Saturday, November 6th, here in Las Vegas, they're going to do the yearly Vegas Valley Comic Book Festival at the Las Vegas Public Library on Flamingo, just down from Maryland Parkway, I believe. And the significance of that, they couldn't do it last year because of the pandemic, so they're going to try and do it this year. But unlike other years where it was first come, first serve, where they would send the applications out and whoever got them in first would be guaranteed a table, they're doing it a little different this year. And they want to keep it all comic book related. There's a lot of people who go there, or a lot of vendors who are going there with jewelry and things like that. And the festival's trying to get away from that and just kind of concentrate more on just being a comic book festival, which I liked. So they're going to do it jury style. You put in your applications. There's a, you know, a date that you're supposed to have them in by at the end of this month. I've already submitted mine, and they ask you, what are you selling? What's your routine? And they're going to pick based off of who they feel will best represent the comic book festival here in town. Now, I had a conversation with my friend Brian, and he owns, of course, he owns Cosmic Comics, and we talked about you know, how I felt personally, just me. And again, you know, things I say on this channel are my opinion, no one else's opinion. You can agree or disagree. We've always said that. But my thing is, you know, if you have a shop, and I'm talking, you know, here locally, whether it be Cosmic Comics, Fandomverse, Velvet Underground, Torpedo, which Torpedo really doesn't do a whole lot. I don't think they're really big for the comic book industry here locally. I think they're more, you know, on their own scale. You know, Dirty Dog Comics, or whoever you are, alternate reality, you should be able to just get a booth. You have a comic shop, you get a booth. The next tier of those, you know, areas would be, you know, sellers like me, or, you know, comic book people like me who have a YouTube channel, or who do things online, who are, you know, trying to build the comic book industry in the town that they're in, which would be locally here in Las Vegas. But then other people fall into that. You have Shimp and Sons, who do a lot of shows and are very active in the comic book community. You have Gorilla Todd, who does things like that, you know, here locally active in the community. And that's the second tier of people. So you have the shops, and then the second tier people, and then whatever's left after that. Those are the ones who should get the opportunity to sell at these shows, because again, whether they're doing a show or not, for the entire year, they are being a positive influence on the comic book industry, on the comic book society, on the comic book community here in town. And so they should be rewarded with being able to do a show like this, if that's what they're going to do. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do, or if they even want to do the show, but they should be given the opportunity to do that. And hopefully the, you know, library will see that and kind of give that opportunity, you know, to do that. So there was that. And the reason I bring that up is because all these books that I'm showing, all these books that I have, all the books that I pick up, all the books I have in storage, those are going to be the types of things that I would bring to the comic book society, or the comic book show, you know, the library show. It's called the library show here in town. But those are the things that I would be selling, because a show like this, there's not a whole lot of action for big end books, which would kind of, you know, price a lot of people out. You do have consistent sellers. Of course, Rob from Red Hood Comics is always good at coming to the booth, my booth, and then, you know, trying to pick up some items, and, you know, he does his thing. But my whole thing is books like this, you know, $10 books, you know, $10 to $15 books and lower. That stuff sells really, really well. Of course, I forgot to mention another person who is very active here, has a space, which is Joe at Fire Force Comics. Joe does a really good job here in the community as well. And he should be allowed to sell, because he has a shop, and him and his wife are very active trying to build the market here in Las Vegas. Because again, it doesn't matter how many shops you have, if everybody kind of works together, there's always going to be a market for everybody, and we can all get along. But as we know, there's a couple of shops that kind of do their own thing, and they really don't care about pushing people out of the way to do that. And whether people like what I say or not about that, it doesn't matter to me. That's my personal opinion. It's a personal opinion. So there was that. I don't have pretty much more to say about that. Again, the date on that, November 6th, and the show goes from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is a Saturday. But again, if you're in town, Las Vegas, come by and see it. I will make an announcement whether or not I get a space to sell, because they're going to make that announcement later on this month, whether or not you have been chosen, because they're going to choose like a jury selection. You know, yes, you get to sell at our shop. No, you do not get to sell at the show. So if I get a space, and I will announce that, and hopefully you come out and say hello. You see me, say hello, buy a couple of books. You know, this Godzilla number 12 would look great in your collection. Again, my stuff is higher grade than most, so those of you who bought from me know that. So that's pretty much all we have. Kind of a ramble on there at the end, but you know, I do that sometimes because that's just how I am. I'm getting up there in age, 54 years old, and I'm getting old, so I forget things very easily. So that's pretty much all we have today. So I hope you liked the video, but as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great, great day. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell to remind you when a new video comes up. And until next time, happy hunting and have a very safe weekend.